await kickoff in a vitally important match as Duncan Hodge gets ready to start the game. The pitch a little bit soft on top. The Scottish forwards ready to follow up well back towards the 10 metres line to give them momentum. And they're ready to lift this man, Chris Anthony, number 3, the Swansea prop forward. The referee's whistle goes and Hodge switches the direction of the kick to the far side. And so Scotland immediately have taken the initiative, and it's a try for John Leslie. Would you believe it? What a dramatic opening. The Scots caught the Welshman cold with the switch of kick. Barely a minute gone. It's 5-0.
Well, Shane Howarth goes up for it. The ball is taken from him. John Leslie, one Kiwi taking the ball out of a grasp of another. What a start.
It really was a marvellous bit of work. John Leslie, of course, is a big fellow at 6'2", and well, he can shift as well, as you can see. Neil Jenkins' tackle just couldn't stop the try. It's 5-0, and there's the scorer. His parents in the stand, son of Andy Leslie, the old All Blacks captain, who himself played against Scotland in '75. Duncan Hodge then, good side for him, right-footed. Bang, but hooked. 5 points to 0. They've played just a minute and a half. Have we ever had a more dramatic start to an international?
My opening words are going to be how well Wales have been starting their internationals lately. Cancel that. Scotland, what clever switch of play. John Leslie, oh dear, oh dear.
Jenkins gets it started. Peters takes it in. Loud blast for going over. Penalty to the Scots. That Scottish restart kick, by the way, to get the game started, was put over to Matthew Robertson, the new cap. Very clever tactic indeed. Hodge with a booming punt up to the Welsh 10 metres line.
I think that was the idea, wasn't it? Ask something of Matthew Robinson, and Shane Howarth took the responsibility, trying to ease his winger into international rugby. And unfortunately, Scotland just, well, ploy worked brilliantly.
Gordon Bullock with the first throw-in. Goes this man beautifully. Scott Murray, the big Bedford lock forward, formerly of Preston Lodge and Edinburgh Academical. Scots rumbling and rolling. Again, pulling down the maul. A penalty, and that's kickable. There's the big man himself, Scott Quinnell, who, like his dad Derek before him, is prepared to run through concrete for Wales. Hodge then going for touch near the corner. It's just inside the Welsh 22, and a big onus resting on the broad shoulders of Duncan Hodge of Watsonians there to get the decision-making absolutely spot on. That's the situation, the whole of Murrayfield abuzz. Now Scotland have withdrawn Tom Smith there to the scrum half position. And there, Murray takes it. There's the switch round the front by Walton. Walton thumping on. Scotland full of bright ideas so far. Hodge going. That's the switch to Leslie. Leslie squaring it up for the forwards. Still inside the Welsh 22. And yes, a loud blast there. It may have been against Darren Morris.
The Swansea prop in from the side of that ruck, offside, clear penalty.
And it was indeed offside. Darren Morris, this big laddie here, he's 6'1", but he's 18.5 stone. Can prop on either side of the front row, and that's a very handy thing to have. Now then, I think everybody's trying to get their breath back after that start. It really has been a quite dramatic affair. Even more dramatic for the Scots in the crowd if Duncan Hodge can kick this goal. He scored over 1,000 points in something like 94 games for Watsonians. Notice he's a big fella too, over 14 stones. Hodge then. But he's pulled it wide. 2 good chances gone. It stays at 5-0. They've played 5 minutes.
Just think it could be 10-0 and we've had 1 set piece.
Colin Charvers a bit anxious there and almost got offside. Jenkins with the long kick. Metcalf, the New Zealander from Waikato, but Wales obviously know of the danger he poses. Armstrong, Hodge again, half charge down. Plus comes Howarth. Howarth did that well. Gary Armstrong, well, it was a very difficult one indeed for the Scottish captain. There he is playing his 42nd international today.
For Wales, that is a major turning point in the game so far.
Good tap, Howley goes. Robert Howley, who takes off there like a greyhound at the slips. Just 10 metres short of Scotland's 22. Charvis trying to go outside to Williams, the loose forward. But that ball went loose and Walton got in there somehow for the Scots, but diving down, a penalty to the Welshman, and that's kickable. Referee Ed Morrison telling them, going down, stay on your feet. That's Peter Walton there, brought in, I think, to match Scott Quinnell. See here, this was Robert Howley going round the edge of the maul as it developed. Very good tackle by Leslie. Then the pick-up by Williams. Meanwhile, chance for Wales to open their account. And you recognise him? Did I tell you? Neil Jenkins. I suppose if you wanted a fella to kick a goal to save your life, he'd be high up on the list. He's now lying 5th in the list of all-time top point scorers in international matches. Michael Lina, Gavin Hastings, Diego Dominguez and Grant Fox in front of him. Neil Jenkins then with 632 points in 59 internationals. Jenkins measures the distance. Little chip kick, the flags are up as you would expect. And the ginger-haired lad from Pontypridd does it again. 5 points to 3, Scotland lead, 8 minutes gone.
5-3. We've nearly got half as many points already at Murrayfield as we had in the Five Nations at Dublin. Oh, the glory of the old championship. What variety, Bill.
You can say that again, Eddie. Hodges restart. Doddy, we're up for it. Kenny Logan away. But they'll scrum it. Wales is put in. Kenny Logan there, playing in his 35th international. It's midway between the Welsh 22 and halfway. There you are, Wales, a good bit heavier in the scrummage. Howley, Jenkins. Switch there beautifully to Gibbs. That's on to Quinnell. Quinnell tackled by Walton. Howley once again. Jenkins probing and finding.
What's Neil Jenkins now? He's not happy with that. He wasn't looking for touch, he was looking to keep the ball in field, to keep the momentum going, to make Scotland play the ball.
Scott Quinnell on the charge, having been fed by Scott Gibbs, 2 great big lumps of fellas. Great roars all round Murrayfield. Doddy Weir at 2, and it was meant for him. Bullock has a go. Drive on by Murray. That's Scott Murray, the lock forward. We've got a Murray out in the 3/4 as well. Ball was knocked forward. Gary Armstrong there is said to have speeded up his service during his spell with Newcastle. Be interesting to see that development. Tremendously inspirational figure, Gary Armstrong, who followed Roy Laidlaw, of course, from the same club, Jed Forest, into the Scottish side and as a British line as well. So this brief injury for the moment to one of the comparative newcomers, Ian Goff of Pontypridd, in his second international. The Welsh in full voice. Pick up and drive by Quinnell. Quinnell running at the Scottish midfield. Duncan Hodge in on the tackle. This would be a great ball for Wales to win quickly, and they have. Jenkins out. Lovely breakthrough there. And a great run by Robinson. The chip ahead there. And following up very quickly was Scott Gibbs. But Bateman in on it as well. That was a lovely Welsh move. Well, this is the situation for Wales. That's the Scottish goal line. Howley went on the dummy run. Quinnell on the pickup. But they'll scrum it again. The Scots will have to dig in here. You saw earlier they're giving away £4 or £5 a man. Tom Smith on the far side there. On the loose head side, the British Lion. 10 British Lions on the field here. There was the feed to Howley. A very good move with the dummy work first of all by the loose forwards. Then out to Jenkins. Great drive on there by Morris, the prop forward. The other prop, Anthony, takes it a bit further. They're within 4 or 5 metres of the line. Jenkins going, Jenkins home. In fact, he's just short.
Neil Jenkins says Wales have so many moves, he has to stay up late into the night learning them all, revising what they're going to do. But it's a little bit of individual brilliance from Neil Jenkins here. Outside his man, tries to cut back inside. He's a lot stronger than he looks. He's over the line. Good Scottish defence in the end.
It really was a brilliant bit of work by the Scots because they managed to keep the ball off the floor. You'll notice Eric Peters was a key figure there. That's what saved the try. So this brief stoppage for an injury, we think, to Duncan Hodge. And we'll check up in a moment. But what a cracking start. This match has got 5 points to 3. They played about 13 minutes of the first half.
The initial break had been made by Scott Quinnell. Look at the dummy work by the hands of Scott Gibbs. The break by Alan Bateman. He's very sharp on the outside break, taking on Gregor Townsend. And here's the new boy on the hoof. He is very, very sharp. He takes Kenny Logan for pace, and a bit of cleverness there. He's a county cricketer. Was he taken late? The referee said play on, and this is what Wales have built from that situation.
A crucial area for the Scots to defend because there are so many options open to the Welsh if they can win this ball, which would be a surprise if they didn't win it. But it went down, and Ed Morrison quite rightly blows immediately to avoid any more shuffing and to eliminate that element of danger. Howley puts in. Quinnell moved across a little bit. It's still in control. Quinnell still has it. Great difficulty for the referee to decide when the scrummage is over, you know, when there's one foot stuck back there. And of course the opposing players have to stay in the scrummage until the scrummage is over. So it's all kinds of pressure situations for the ref and players as well. However, a loud blast. The scrummage went down. Stay it up, says Ed Morrison, and the Scots are relieved. Chris Anthony. Hodge clears up to midway between Scottish 22 and halfway. Duncan Hodge, the key man.
Of course, the big question mark over Wales was the damage inflicted by the Argentine scrum in the second of their pre-Christmas internationals. Chris Anthony back instead of David Young, who was injured.
Good jump by Peters. Scotland are well equipped in the line out there, and this is Gary Armstrong, the first Gary Owen of the day from Gary Armstrong. Very well taken by Robinson, full marks to him. Just a lightly built lad he is. And so that really did save Wales' embarrassment. His technique was absolutely spot on.
Well, that's the second time Scotland have put Robinson under pressure in the air. Well taken and good support by Colin Jarvis, number 6. The two Swansea players helping each other out.
One new cap in the field today, Matthew Robinson. 10-12 metres outside the Welsh 22. Oh, Gary Armstrong was clever there. However, Cornell did very well to get it away. Here's Robinson coming in as an extra centre. Good bit of movement there by the Welshman. Wee bit unlucky. Referee playing advantage. And really the forwards piling in there, taking bodies out. It's a hard physical game nowadays, and of course Scott Gibbs there, you get tackled by him, you think the roof's fallen in.
Slight hesitation there, because they'd done the first part of the move very well, and then there was just a slight hesitation, and Scott Gibbs lying as flat as Neil Jenkins, and he's not used to that.
Armstrong, Hodge, Leslie taking it back to the forward. Leslie, a big fella, good drive on there by his brother Martin, one Leslie to another. Armstrong, Leslie once again, Armstrong still. Hodge has a go. Welsh 22, Jarvis doing some great work there. Big kick downfield, Scots were all up in line. Superb bit of work there by Ken Logan.
You can't help but make the comparison between the events in Dublin, which was a good old romp in the mud between Ireland and France. And this game, this is just electrifying. The pace at which this game has been played, the turf at Murrayfield is perfect for running rugby, and there will be plenty of errors.
Howley, Jenkins, Bateman taking it in. Scott Gibbs there as well. Pair of them paired once again for Wales. Get out the way, said the referee, that's clear enough. Once you're on the floor, you've got to leave the tackle player alone. Let him do what he has to do with the ball immediately. Neil Jenkins. Oh, that's a spiralling punt. What a beaut. They'll be all chortling down at Pontypridd about that one. It's a 60th cap today, the 8th match against Scotland for Neil Jenkins.
And happy 48th to you as well, Bill. My, you must have started young.
Wales taking it beautifully there with Jarvis at the back. Drive on by Wyatt. Now it's Howley. Good bit of running. Marvellous run there. They've got as close as that. The Welsh backs really are putting bits and pieces together. Went forward, Scotland will have the put in.
Just look how flat Neil Jenkins is there. That is just eyeball to eyeball, and it so very nearly comes off for Shane Howarth. The full-back into the line, but it's Neil Jenkins. He's just playing just up with the Scots in attack.
Shane Howarth there, who intruded like a meteorite. The New Zealander at full-back. Two New Zealanders at full-back in this match. Scotland, of course, with Glenn Metcalf from Waikato, Shane Howarth from Auckland. Well, Ed Morrison was a standoff half, and so he, like many other referees, won't be quite sure as to what's going on in the front row. Referee telling them to remember to stay fixed. Went round a bit too far, they'll have to do it again.
Just think Wales may be missing David Young here. It's a great chance to exert real pressure on Scotland at the scrummage, and Scotland looked pretty comfortable.
Of course, Wales, Eddie, did have some problems in the front row against the Argentinians in the second half, didn't they?
Second half, first half, but the Argentine scrimmage is something else.
However, Wales did strengthen their front row with the two Swansea prop forwards, Darren Morris and Chris Anthony. Tremendous tribute to the Swansea club to produce prop forwards like that. Peters with the pick-up. Peters picks good angles, drove well. Armstrong. Big kick there from John Leslie that time. But what a drive by Peters, Eric Peters.
In a way, though, the Scottish scrimmage, Peters had to pick up because it was going backwards. Oh dear, I think it's going to be one of those days. Say one thing and the opposite happens.
Referee just telling both lines of forwards that he wants a clear space between them. It's got to be at least a metre. Lets him see what's going on. Lets him see if there's any jiggery-pokery going on. Jiggery-pokery, every liner. Murray went up and got fingertips to it. Hodge, Townsend takes the tackle of Jenkins and also of Williams. This is a good ball for the Scots. That was a quick one. Hodge again, but a loud blast for offside, and it's a penalty to the Scots.
Scottish tactic, they're competing every Welsh throw, and that compares with Ireland. They didn't contest one of the French throws. It's a big decision to make. John Humphrey's throwing in. He's normally a very good thrower, but that's just a genuine man-against-man jump, obviously boosted by their props. Fair gain by Scotland. I suppose after you have stolen the ball, it's such an advantage that it's slightly disappointing to have to kick. Gregor Townsend in midfield, and after this ruck, Scotland kick for touch. They do get the penalty, but perhaps they might have made more of it.
So there's Budge Pountney coming on for Scotland, the flank forward, because of the fascial injury to Martin Leslie. So Budge Pountney comes on for his second international, got his first against the South Africans in November. That's Martin Leslie going off, but it's a bleeding wound, so he can come on again once it's tended to.
A bleeding wound, Bill.
Bullock's throw. Beautifully taken off there by Doddy Weir. Walton has a charge, all 18 stones of him. The lovely ball for Armstrong. Weir going. That was a thumping tackle by Jarvis that actually turned a defensive situation momentarily into an attacking one. Armstrong once again to Hodge. The tackling in midfield is really hefty, and there your man Robinson is away. Very well chased and caught by Cameron Murray. But this laddie can shift all right, Matthew Robinson.
That's just the power of offensive tackling, isn't it? Colin Jarvis on Doddy Weir. And once Scotland were going backwards, well, it opened up the possibilities for Matthew Robinson. He is a flyer, and if it just had a little bit more luck and the ball hadn't gone to touch, he'd have been away.
Wasn't it great to see Matthew Robinson control the ball with his foot as well?
His cousin is Nathan Blake, who plays for Blackburn Rovers and Wales.
That explains it. Scottish 10 metres line. Fiddling about at the scrummage there. These are the two Swansea, you can tell, prop forwards, can't you? They've all got 20-inch neck. Hodge. Sliced. Robinson. Neil Jenkins. Neil Jenkins, I don't know what he said to young Robinson there. He wouldn't thank him for that little delay before he gave him the ball.
But you know, I think Matthew Robinson looks made for this. You know, he made a little mistake then, stayed calm. And if there's one person who will get you out of a hole, it's Neil Jenkins. He's probably said to him, "It's all right, Neil, I'm in charge."
Jenkins, the very man in his 60th international. Townsend almost through. Welsh 10 metres line, Scots forwards piling in. Armstrong feeds once again. Drive on further. And there's Peter Walton throwing people out of the way. This is a magnificent bit of work by the Scot. It's Armstrong once more. Hodge with the shift. Townsend taking it in. Wales will get the boot in. But Eddie, one of the features to me is the amount of quick later face possession. They're both winning.
They are. You expect Scotland to win that. I think their rucking technique is so sound. But this is just brought to a halt. We've seen one tackle by Colin Jarvis, which knocks Scotland backwards, and this is Jonathan Humphreys, the Welsh hooker. Actually, the Scots do very well here, and that sort of diving under the play. Two props avoiding each other very, very deftly there. Tom Smith does well to escape out of here, and you think Scotland might be in control of a major counter-attack here. Alan Bateman just wriggling a bit to make sure that the release isn't that quick. And as the play goes on, well, it all comes to a halt when Jonathan Humphreys makes his big hit.
But certainly some great work there by both Scottish prop forwards. Tom Smith here, the only Scot to play in all 3 test matches in the Lions tour of South Africa. And of course Paul Burnell, the veteran of 33. And there John Rutherford in the middle, sitting with Jim Telfer. Dougie Morgan at the back on the right there, Derek Grant in the middle. Sage old fellas holding their breath for Scotland. Howley. Jenkins threaded it through the eye of a needle there. Metcalf. Oh, superb follow-up tackling that was. That was by Howarth on his opposite number. Doddy Weir goes a bit further. Scottish forwards really are driving brilliantly here. Up over halfway. Now they'll chip it wide. Hodge, Gary Owen. Jenkins beautifully underneath it. And called for the mark. Great play. Howarth with the big hoof. The bounce beat Metcalf initially. He's caught behind his forwards. Armstrong out very well to Cameron Murray. Murray seeks the sanctuary of the forwards. Great drive on there by Paul Burnell. Now it's Armstrong. This is Walton going. The Scots, look at them diving in there. Now it's Hodge once again. Townsend out to Logan. Logan hands on there to John Leslie. Leslie feeds on to Logan. Logan up the touchline. This is wonderfully thrilling rugby football from both sides.
Wales have just managed to keep Scotland at bay. Scotland have been going through close to the ruck and maul, and then they hit them out wide. And again, it's Matthew Robinson who does so well to get back there. But actually, it's not so much out wide that Scotland are proving dangerous. It's these drives by the props close to the rucks that are exposing the Welsh defence.
Of course, Kenny Logan there, who has scored 7 cap international tries, but never won in the 5 nations. He'll want to put that right today if he can. Had 5 tries, of course, in the World Cup qualifying against Spain and 2 against Portugal. Well, there you are. Wales have been much more efficient in the ball one and in taking it over the gain line. 81%, that's very successful.
But Scotland have had twice as many balls to play with.
Generally speaking, the average is about 45%, and that's doing fairly well. So 80 is remarkable. Humphreys with the throw, taken by Wyatt. Howley, clever, kidded on, he was going to pass, used the narrow side, not a lot of room, but he still got over the gain line.
And more importantly, Scotland take it into touch, so the little dart leads to a Welsh throw.
Loud blast there. Again, I think they're closing the gaps too quickly for Ed Morrison's liking.
But you can see the panic it causes, or not panic, but the confusion it causes when you know Scotland are going to jump. Jonathan Humphreys isn't sure now. He doesn't like throwing into this line-out.
That may have been taking the legs away, and that's dangerous. Chris Wyatt whipped away there, one of the two Llanelli forwards. Watch it here. Yes, there, that's dangerous. Sometimes, of course, it's partly done by your own players trying to lift you.
I think, Doddy, as soon as you see a player put his hands up in all innocence, you know he's done something wrong.
Martin Leslie's back on the field for Scotland, so the Leslie brothers are reunited. First two brothers to play for Scotland together in a Cup international since the Hastings against France in '76. Jenkins missed everybody. Trying the miss move there, but it went forward. But 10 minutes to go to half-time, Scotland leading 5 points to 3.
Wales still playing it very, very flat. And when you're trying these long passes flat, knock-ons are bound to occur because the attack and the defence is so close together.
Scots inside their own 22, but Wales penalised for holding on to the ball on the ground. Ed Morrison, so decisive, no mucking about with him. Tells them exactly what's what. Duncan Hodge up to halfway. So Duncan Hodge there has been on 4 tours with Scotland. Once scored 34 points in one game against the West of Scotland, including 3 tries. Outstanding cricketer too at youth level. Great jump there again by Peters. That's halfway. Tom Smith plays scrum half. Well, he does what a good prop forward usually does. Hodge looking for space. Howard racing across deep inside the 22. Yes, it's a good return. Quick throw in. Is this Metcalf? He did the throwing in himself. A tackle there by Williams. Metcalf trying to release it. The Scots clean bodies off the edges there.
Again, the first player up to make the tackle, John Humphreys, followed by Martin Williams. I just think the tackle count, you would see at the top of any tackle count, John Humphreys and Martin Williams. Glenn Metcalf, bit of adventure. And somewhere there'll be a number 2 in a red shirt coming flying in. There he is.
Armstrong. Drive on there by Bullock, the hooker. Almost up to the Welsh 22. Chance now as Cameron Murray goes in amongst the red jerseys. Scots forwards in tremendous nick at the moment. Breakthrough by Leslie, almost through again. Notice how he lays off the ball so well to Doddy Weir. That's the Welsh 22. Armstrong once again. Great serve there by Townsend, and Hodge was outside him. This is thrilling stuff. Tremendous international. What an opening to the 5 nations.
If Wales have the sort of sophisticated patterns from set piece, this is Scotland in loose play, so dangerous. Gregor Townsend, and it's nobody but himself who dislodges the ball.
Yeah, it's a good Welsh scrummage though, absolutely solid. Taken on by Gibbs. Feed on out there to Jenkins. Jenkins, cool, calm and collected, hasn't found his touch. Metcalf in trouble, and back there is Scott Murray, but in front and offside, taken quickly by Howley. Howley has kicked for space. Tremendous race going on here. Howley going. Howley gets it. It's a try for Duffy James. A brilliant bit of quick thinking and opportunism. A super try for the big lad from Pontypridd. His 3rd try for Wales in internationals. It's 8-5 for Wales. They played 34 minutes of the first half.
Scotland, after a period of domination, give away the penalty. Individual brilliance by Robert Howley. He was looking all around him to see who was available, what was on. Great awareness by the scrum half and a very sound finish. Look at Robert Howley, a bit of juggling. He nudged it forward with his right hand, caught it with his left, and then continued to look. David James, well, it is a simple run-in, but that is some try. Robert Howley at his very, very best.
David James, this big leggy lad, he's 6'3", got his first cap against Australia in '96. This must be his best moment. And his Pontypridd clubmate, Neil Jenkins. Flags are raised. Jenkins' is second successful kick in the match. It's 10 points to 5 for Wales. They have about 5 minutes to go to half-time. John Leslie was a wee bit unlucky with the bounce here. If you watch, he had covered very well, but see, it bounced away from him. And it was a brilliant bit of work by Howley. He had a look on either side. Look at the support work by David James. Brilliant. Hodge has restarted.
Just thinking, Bill, that the tap penalty has become the sort of third set piece, or even the fourth set piece. If you've got line out, kick-off, restart, reception and chasing, that's the third set piece. These quick penalties have become the fourth set piece.
It's set piece with quick ball, basically. Well, here's this big resettled Welsh front row. Peters once again onto Walton. Walton runs into Jenkins. That's the sort of play that the Scottish forwards are looking for. Ball knocked forward there. This Scott Murray there of Bedford. Big lock forward who's come on tremendously since he went down there.
Just little unforced handling errors by Scotland. Otherwise, they would not be trailing by 10 points to 5.
4 handling errors to 3, but it seems like more. Scott Quinnell. See, another good bit of ball there as Jonathan Humphreys has a probe round the edges, but there was a bit of interference on that far side. It's a penalty to the Scots. It's kickable. But of course the fashion nowadays is to go for 7 points by kicking into the corner and winning the line-out. Jonathan Humphreys there, who's captained Wales 17 times. And there's this motorised scooter thing that... because people will laugh their heads off at that little thing. It's amazingly efficient. Isn't it comical? Modern invention. Who would ever have thought? Now then, Duncan Hodge. He's already with 2 tries, 2 penalties and a conversion, 18 points in cap internationals. But he's missed a couple and he'll want this to be third time lucky. Duncan Hodge then, he certainly has the distance, and it's dead straight as well. That'll lift his confidence a bit, and the confidence of the Scottish side. 10 points to 8, a couple of minutes to go to half-time, plus a bit of injury time. And Duncan Hodge strikes. Murrayfield absolutely packed and simply bustling with anticipation and excitement. Jenkins with the restart. In there went Scott Murray. Armstrong, little chippy one.
That's not worthy of applause, really. I mean, the catch by Scott Murray was brilliant, and Gary Armstrong just gives it away. He's handed Wales a line-out. You know, when you do something so exceptional, you deserve better.
Wyatt with the delivery. Jenkins, Scott Gibbs. Great bit of running there by Scott Quinnell. He's like a niggly rhino when he gets going, big Quinnell. Jenkins from Howley. Angled away very well and bounced very well too. Tremendous competitor, Neil Jenkins, isn't he? His 60th international match, first against England in '91. And with his head screwed on the right way, a good tactician. Dutch judge over there, David McHugh of Ireland, who's done 6 cap internationals, did France and England last season. The other touch judge on this side is Steve Lander of England, who did Scotland against the Maoris in November. So, experienced men helping the referee. Bullock's throw. Murray's great catch. Ten metres outside Scotland's 22. The rumble and roll was a successful one because Scotland have got the scrimmage. Gordon Bullock right in the middle of that one, the West of Scotland hooker there, who took captain West of Scotland there to Scottish Secretary of State there, by the way, Donald Dewar. So the Welsh Secretary as well, enjoying the cut and thrust of a tremendous international match as Armstrong feeds out once again to Hodge. Hodge asking questions of the loose forward. Armstrong once again. Peters. They're over the gain line once more. Up to the Scots 10 metres line. Armstrong. Tom Smith has a go. But going over again. Peter Walton may have been penalised that time. You can tell the look of disgust on his face, but Ed Morrison's been pretty strict about that business of going over to kill delivery.
You can see why Scotland are hammering away short to these rucks and mauls. They have got through. That's a very good tackle, though. And yeah, he's off his feet there. Yes, he's down on the ground and diving in. Penalty Wales.
There's a marvellous long-range shot, the view of the floodlights, the pack stand on the far side, the east stand, and down in the pitch there, Neil Jenkins. He's actually kicked 228 goals for Wales in CAP international matches, would you believe it? And already he's got, what, 637 points in his 60 internationals. Remember his marvellous kicking feats for the Lions in South Africa. Scored 41 of the 59 points in the 3 tests. Neil Jenkins to stretch the Welsh lead. It's a long one on the 10 metres line, but he's certainly got the distance. The Welsh crowd will tell you that it's over again. A most remarkable performance again by this fella. 13 points to 8 Wales lead. They played a couple of minutes into injury time at the break, and Jenkins with 3 successful goals. What a kicker. The Dragons are absolutely chuffed at the situation. Hodge restarts. Leslie up quickly, but Jarvis did well. Little pirouette to throw the tackler away. Jenkins, he's outside the 22, but it's again a very big kick indeed. And yes, he's got the roll as well. Kenny Logan back there, but he just had no chance with it. It was a marvellous kick by Jenkins. It's covered something like 60 to 70 metres.
He's not the same player as he was 5 years ago, is he? When he was going through a bit of a bad patch and didn't know where he was going to play. Neil Jenkins has just become a consummate general of the rugby field now.
Lovely bit of work too by David McHugh, the Irish touch judge, who went infield so as to make sure he had a clear view of whether the ball touched the line or not. Doddy Weir. Well, the Welsh managed to get in there and half stop it. However, Armstrong. Robinson, who's so tricky. He's having a good opening international. Matthew Robinson of Swansea. Referee's whistle goes for half-time. After an exhilarating half, the crowd standing up to clap the players off the field. There was this wonderful bit of work here by Matthew Robinson, who, as Eddie said earlier, is so cool and calm. Half-time has come to us. Wales leading by 13 points to 8 at the break.
This is a message about coronavirus.
Because coronavirus is highly infectious, it spreads quickly. Say one person catches it and they infect 3 others, and they infect 3 more. It soon adds up. But when people stay at home, it makes a massive difference to the spread, to the pressure on our NHS, and to the number of lives saved. To save lives, let's work together and stay apart. Stay at home, protect Scotland's NHS and save lives.
Neil Jenkins actually scored 19 points here 2 years ago. He's got 8 at the moment. Jenkins gets the second half started. Peters, the number 8 forward, who's been having a great season with Bath. Armstrong high. He left it to Jenkins. He's thrown down by Cameron Murray. Get away, shouts the referee. It's meaning to warn the players to get away from the tackle player and the ball. They mustn't lie there, they mustn't interfere with the ball if they're part and parcel of the tackle, and they've got to stay on their feet. There's Cameron Murray there, Hoyk's 54th international player. Now then, of course, the Scottish scrimmage is still underweight, is it more? Even more now that Doddy Weir isn't there. Doddy Weir is dipping the scales at 17.10 just now. Stuart Grimes is just on 17. Loud blast. Keep it up, said the referee. And the penalty goes to Wales. Tom Smith, a loose head prop with a white band on. That's the hooker there, Gordon Bullock. And Neil Jenkins, who is in total charge, you can see, is ringing the changes. He's got all the back division moves off, but when it needs a hoof to touch or a hoof into space, he's the lad. Now then, Wales have clipped the 3, so they've got a lot of forwards out amongst their back. There was the drive by Scott Gibbs. He's like a runaway milk lorry when he goes like that, and that was Robert Howley having a go deep inside Scotland's 22, but Scotland get the boot into the scrimmage.
Very good Scottish defence. I just wonder, Wales are playing so flat, is that pass almost forward? It's a very flat game they're playing. It is amazingly flat.
But it's certainly great to see them using moves like that. The 3-man line out there and forwards scattered out amongst the backs. Gary Armstrong got a knock there. Gary Armstrong, who's the most capped of the Scottish backs, is 42nd today, and of course a British Lion in Australia in '89. He's having a great season with Newcastle, of course, and was a key figure in them winning the championship last season.
It's not a bad replacement to have, Brian Redpath injured, and you think, oh, there might be a weakness now, and then you suddenly see Gary Armstrong coming out of the tunnel.
Size of relief. Gary Armstrong's okay, although Ian Fairley, the replacement scrum half for the first time in a Cup international, is very quick and a very useful lad. Hodge has cleared 40-50 yards upfield.
Very calm.
Duncan Hodge, the laddie who of course beat the South Africans with a couple of drop goals, if you remember, in '94 for Scotland Day. Now then, all come back into the line out, very well away from Wyatt. There's Howley, again linking up with the forwards. That was Morris going. That's a tremendous move by Wales. It's a pity for them that they lost at the last minute. A great chance to run out there as it's taken and driven on by Kenny Logan. He runs into Scott Gibbs. No scrum half, and Tom Smith just stakes it in. Loud blast. Get away again, interfering on the floor. Really, the fact is that if you're down on the ground, technically you're out of the game.
Wales cutting their line out again. They're obviously worried about Scotland contesting every single throw. Oh, mistake.
Sliced bunt. Howarth is strong and manoeuvrable. Former All Blacks fullback. Jenkins. Robinson, a rare roll, like what a lovely run, but again just losing the ball in the tackle. But this laddie really is writing his name over the game. The Swansea wing went from Newport to Swansea this season.
Oh, this was on, as they say. Robinson, with time, goes on the inside, and if he could just have got the pass away to Neil Jenkins, that was a try.
It was the change of pace by Matthew Robinson that did it, but it was a great bit of work by Gary Armstrong, who actually went for the ball and managed to loosen it. And that's what saved, well, it might have been another Welsh try. Meanwhile, Duncan Hodge, the injured player, and of course Scotland have Gregor Townsend on the pitch, who can play at standoff half. Indeed, has played standoff 19 times for Scotland. This is 17th game as a centre, because he played as a fullback, Gregor Townsend as well. Alan Tate, however, would seem to be the player getting ready to come on.
Alan Tate against Alan Bateman and Scott Gibbs. Old league reunion out there. We're full of Kiwis, full of league players.
The sparks will fly.
Yes, they'll shake each other by the hand and then knock lumps out of each other. Is that run by Matthew Robinson, the flyer? Scotland playing a very dangerous game, allowing this new winger so much space. Now, the covering player is Gary Armstrong. Now, waits his time. Oh, that's a great bit of work by Gary Armstrong.
The Welsh score legions in full voice. And there you can see Duncan Hodge. See what a burly fellow he is. This really is building up. 7 minutes of the second half played, 13 points to 8, and it looks to me as if Cameron Murray, I think he's recovered, ready to come on again. Cameron Murray, one of the fastest players in the Scottish side. Duncan Hodge going off, and this will be fascinating. Alan Tate has actually gone on, so Gregor Townsend goes to stand-off half, his favourite position. And there he is, the switch to Leslie. The Scottish at 10 metres line. Peters took it a bit further. Armstrong. Oh, that was a wild pass from Bullock. And that was the ball thrown away by the Scots as Howley feeds. That's Howarth going, using the narrow side. Howley switching. Jenkins. Was that Jonathan Humphreys? A loud blast for going over against the Scot, and Howley is away once again. Jenkins out. The counter-attack here as Townsend goes. Townsend flat out. He's going to score between the posts. Another opportunist score. Gregor Townsend the scorer. His 6th try for Scotland. It's 13-all. And the crowd here, well, they're just lapping it up.
Well, it's the quickly taken penalty. It worked so well for Robert Howley. Part 1 is fine. Part 2, Scott Quinnell drops that fierce pass to Neil Jenkins, and Gregor Townsend. It's a question of pace. He's certainly too quick for Scott Gibbs, and he's too quick for Shane Howarth. What a turnaround by Scotland. They were undone in the first half by a quickly taken penalty. They take full advantage of a Welsh tap penalty themselves in the second.
Kenny Logan doing the goal-kicking as he's been doing for Wasps all season. Logan slots the conversion. Scotland are in the lead, 15 points to 13. They played 9 minutes of the second half. And what a thriller this was. Scott Quinnell couldn't hold the ball that came up about his right ear somewhere. And of course Townsend, a flying machine. There was no chance whatsoever of either Shane Howarth or Scott Gibbs catching him. That was Townsend in full flow. Scotland leading. Scottish forward with renewed vigour here, although a little bit clumsy there, and losing a ball through clumsy footwork. Howley, Jenkins, Scott Gibbs. Gibbs very well held there by John Leslie. The tempo is increasing here at Murrayfield. Paul Burnell poked round the edge to have a look. And they're the example of how tight forwards have to make decisions whether to commit to the ruck or the maul or whether to stand off and block the fairway, clutter up the midfield, as it were.
Wales have just lost control of the ball, either just before the tackle or just after the tackle. And Scotland are hitting them hard because of that.
Secretary of State for Scotland is smiling at the thought of the Scots having a 2-point lead. His opposite number, the Secretary of State for Wales, realises that Wales are 2 points down. Scotland's 22, Eric Peters. He's got to stay bound, of course, unless he picks up himself. Beautifully away there from Armstrong. That was a lovely pass off Armstrong's left hand, and Townsend's pick up to there. They reckon that Gary Armstrong has quickened up his service since playing for Newcastle, and that was a real whippet of a pass. So you may notice a player with no number in the Scottish pack. It's Eric Peters, who's changed his jersey.
And Wales have lost the ball again on their own throw. Little mistakes again. Here it is. It's Scott Quinnell clearing up there, but it's not straight.
Pick up to Armstrong. Townsend. Kenny Logan trying to hand off. Gets it on there to the fullback Metcalf. Very good tackle by Scott Gibbs. That's halfway.
You can sense Scotland pushing Wales towards the touchlines or taking the ball there themselves. They don't mind these line-outs now. I think they're convinced they've got the edge at the second most basic set piece. They've got the edge at the scrimmage already, and now the line-out, they're starting to expose Wales as well.
Kenny Logan in trouble.
Matthew Robertson on defensive duty. It takes him several goes to get Kenny go. Oh dear, nasty bent knee there for Kenny Logan. I'll be surprised if he takes much more part in this, Bill.
Well, certainly he's a player of vast experience, Kenny Logan. His 35th international today. And I know he was dying to score a try because I mentioned earlier he's had 7 cap international tries, but never one in the 5 Nations. Sean Longstaff is ready to come on. He'll be the 4th New Zealander, as it were. And there it was a lovely move to Gary Armstrong from the pickup. Townsend with the long pass out. John Leslie with yet another spin pass. And here, Kenny Logan very unlucky as he went down with his leg twisted below him. However, K.M. Logan is restored as Wales attack. Scott Gibbs again. A little pop pass up there from Scott Gibbs that time. Some lovely second and third phase ball, breakdown ball has been produced so far, but this time a little bit slow. Howley, Jenkins, that's the kick across field. It was meant for the fast men on that wing, but Cameron Murray has a go. Murray high. Howarth waits. Howarth very well tackled indeed there by Metcalf up, one fullback on another, one New Zealander on another. Scotland's put in. They're 10-15 metres outside the Welsh 22.
How well Scotland are holding Wales up in the tackle. Here we see the kick ahead. He'd beaten one man so comprehensively, it was almost a shame to see him kick, but the end result is that Shane Howarth beats one man, but is held up so well here by Alan Tate and Glenn Metcalf.
15-13 for the Scots as Howarth is tackled into touch deep inside his own 22. The Scots getting the bit between their teeth here, lifted by that Townsend score, but there'll be another stoppage for an injury further over to the right. And there it is, Alan Tate, the injured player.
It's Alan Tate who's injured, but I think Kenny Logan has signalled to the bench that he can't take part either.
So it gets a bit worrying now for the Scots because Alan Tate there, Sean Longstaff, of course, ready. He's the one midfield back left, although he's a wing, really. Ian Fairley, of course, has played centre for Kelso and is a very quick player indeed, but inexperienced at this level. That was Sean Longstaff with the berry on. And meanwhile, Alan Tate, oh well, it's finger damage, so hopefully he'll be all right. Kenny Logan still on as well. Gordon Bullock with the throw. Great jump at the tail there. Martin Leslie took it first of all. Gary Armstrong has a go. Great Welsh tackling there, although they turned the man the wrong way on that occasion. Paul Burnell has a go, but you see the driving there by Scott Quinnell, which stopped Paul Burnell in his tracks.
Very good offensive tackling there again by Wales. Darren Morris putting in a spectacular tackle. Scotland's the slight hesitation was just allow Wales to line the ball carrier up. Scott Quinnell does very well then, but the momentum of the Scottish attack had broken down with the Darren Morris tackle.
This is Barry Williams of Richmond coming on for his 10th cap as Wales hooker. Jonathan Humphreys going off the field. This is 29th international, and so a change of hooker, and Barry Williams, of course, is a very quick fellow about the park. Williams, one of the 10 British Lions on the field here in this match, 5 in each country, and it was Williams who came mauling round the edge there. Howley, Jenkins, lovely stuff to Duffy James. That's a dangerous tackle in my book, but the Scots have pinched it, and the Scots driving by the forwards is really an outstanding feature of their play here. This is Townsend going out there to Leslie, on there to Bullock, the hooker, who was out there on the wing, almost up to the Welsh 22, surging forward play here, but penalised for handling in the ruck. Relief for Wales.
Poor old David James, he's come flying into midfield twice, and twice he's been absolutely dumped. And I know you regard them as dangerous tackles, Bill. I think they're brilliant.
No, I would penalise them as dangerous tackles every time. However, Wales away back into Scotland's half.
Scotland, they've got the turnover. Clever work by John Leslie there. If he'd had a winger outside him rather than a hooker, perhaps Scotland could have done more. Graham Bullock, rather... Sorry, Gordon Bullock.
Still just the 2 points in it. 15-13, about 18 minutes of the second half played. Martin Williams there, one of the 4 Pontypridd players in this Welsh team. Robert Howley, who's had a knock as well. It's been played at such pace, this match, and the physicality of it, if I can call it that, has been quite extraordinary. David Llewellyn of Ebbw Vale is hopeful of coming on for his second cap here, as Robert Howley was hurt. Yes, his arm was twisted, very unluckily indeed. Eric Peters' weight going onto the arm quite accidentally.
It's that old rugby injury, the dislocated shoulder, isn't it? You see an arm go up like that and the torso go down, and you know that, oh dear. Of course, he's had it before, Lions Tour, 97.
Shoulder dislocation on that tour, wasn't it? And of course, for a scrum half, Eddie, fatal. In any event, there we are, a finger cut there. But, well, you'll hear the singing echoing around the ground. Alan Tate, the injured player there. Robert Howley is OK, the Welsh support will be thrilled about that. Howley leading Wales for the 9th time today. Remember his debut try against England in '96. Gary Armstrong hoists it up that 5 metres area. Howard goes in there, technique brilliant. Very well tackled there by Peters. Just short of the Welsh 22. Tom Smith stands off. And Eric Peters gives the referee a little clap. And nothing like getting the referee onto your side if you can. Tom Smith on that side of the front row, of course. That was a very good kick indeed, but Howard, absolutely first-class his technique. He got off the ground to make sure he was first up to the ball.
But again, the Scottish tacklers holding the player off the ground. Great defence by Scotland.
Townsend, he was almost away. Good tackle there by Howley. Neil Jenkins shadowed Townsend there. It was his tackle that stopped him on the break. Gary Armstrong going. Forward will have to do this if no scrum half. Scott Murray has a go. That's the Welsh 22. A drop goal attempt. And there could be a chance of a breakout here for Wales as Jarvis picks up. Very good tap tackle indeed there. Yes, it was by Martin Leslie, the tap tackle. Now it's out along the line. This is Howard in the line. The kick through. And it was a good bit of work by Glenn Metcalf there, who managed to get a hand to the ball. He committed himself, and it was the right thing to do in that circumstance.
Very interested to see this. I think Kenny Logan, with his dodgy knee, knows that Matthew Robinson is skinning him for pace. Now, does 11 have a little nudge on 14? I think he probably does.
There was a wonderful bit of covering there by Scott Murray, the big lock forward for Scotland too. However, Wales once again turning on the tap as Scott Gibbs tries to go through on the Scottish 10 metres line. Howley has a little kick round the edge. Prods it towards the corner. Cross comes Metcalf. It's a good return. So this is Glenn Metcalf from Waikato, one of the 3 New Zealanders in this Scottish 15. The others, the Leslie brothers. Great contribution to the Glasgow Hawks' success of last season. Nicely at the back. It was Wyatt indeed. Scots midfield defence secure there. And Martin Leslie was in on that, so he got off as a tail gunner very quickly indeed. But it comes, said the referee. Howley, that was Howard. On to the forwards, Jarvis goes. Now it's Howley again, lovely pass out there to Jenkins. Yes, Scott Quinnell got the pass and then was knocked out the road when he didn't have the ball. Chance here for the Scots to attack. There's a long kick to Howard. Howard returns the compliment. Logan high, taken by Scott Quinnell. Very good follow-up Scots tackling there. However, good ball for Wales. Good chance here on there for Wyatt. Wyatt to Gibbs, Gibbs to Wyatt. Wyatt tackled by Burnell onto Duffy James. Duffy James back inside to Williams. Brilliant Welsh play here up to the Scottish 22. The Scots funneling back there in desperate defence. Howley has a go at the narrow side, changes his mind. Jenkins. This Wyatt man again, and it could be a try there, and it is a magnificent try. Scott Gibbs, the scorer. A superb bit of Welsh play, and that was the best bit of ball transference we've seen in the whole match. Wales are in the lead 18 points to 15. Their support are thrilled. It was a cracking try.
Oh, this is sensational rugby by Wales. Having gone through a period of not being able to release the ball from the tackle and losing it at the tackle, here they are keeping the ball in hand. And this is just dazzling. That's the only breakdown, and they get quick ball from it. It's the only time, and look at Robert Howley now. Has a dart up the blind side, says it's not on, and a variety of passes. And Chris Wyatt, what good play by a second row. The pass to Scott Gibbs, variety of play, great Welsh try.
Scott Gibbs' 5th try for Wales in his 35th international match. Wales' most capped centre of all time. A cracking try with Wyatt playing such a part. And now Neil Jenkins. Yes, he could put that one over with his eyes closed. A fourth successful kick for Neil Jenkins. Wales lead by 20 points to 15. They've played 25 minutes of the second half, and moving the ball out of the tackle here was the great effort. You see, there's Scott Gibbs got the ball away from the tackle. So did Wyatt. So did this big fella here, James. And, well, when Jarvis was knocked down, Wales still were in control. Howley had a little dart, but then switched, and it was here, Wyatt. Look at the speed for a lock forward, the wee Guddle. Marvellous, marvellous score. One of the scores, surely, of this championship when we look back on the 1999 Five Nations. Wales really are cock-a-hoop now. They feel that it may be their day again. Jenkins prodding and pressurising. And here, Glenn Metcalf has never once been able to break the shackles, as it were. Armstrong with the big hoof away downfield. Guess who's back there? Chris Wyatt. What a performance this big lock forward is giving. However, the Scottish forwards have pinched it. There's Peters on the charge. Peters showing his best form for a while. Tom Smith goes a bit further, almost up to the Welsh 22. Gary Armstrong goes in there. Misunderstanding. Yes, and they've managed to turn Martin Leslie there. Ball being held in. I think he may have felt himself being turned the wrong way. Martin Leslie, who plays flank forward for Scotland the way his father Andy did for the All Blacks. Another change in the Welsh side. Mike Foyle of Llanelli has come on for his 15th cap. We'll check in a while to see who he's taken over from. We think it might be Ian Goff, but there is number 20, Mike Foyle. And it's Mike Foyle on for Ian Goff of Pontypridd, a Llanelli man for a Pontypridd man. Ian Goff there in his second international match. He's worked hard. He gets a break now. Wyatt once again, and that runaway milk float, that is Scott Quinnell coming up the front of the line out again. A very useful move. Great to see the line out front being used for that kind of rolling move that was so popular some years ago. Armstrong, Townsend, the switch to Leslie. It's just the idea is to give the forwards a target. That was a good drive on there by Stuart Grimes. Scottish 10 metres line. Townsend, he's probing with that one. It looks pretty useful. It's more than that.
It is a good kick by Gregor Townsend, but the pickup by Tom Smith, the drive by Stuart Grimes, it provides such a good forward platform that, again, the kick just seems, I don't know, perhaps not the wrong option, but a disappointing option. There's Stuart Grimes, and here comes the pickup by Tom Smith. There he goes. This is wonderful ball by Scotland. They're yards over the gain line. I just wonder why they have to kick now.
Another change by Scotland. Peter Walton is off and Budge Pountney has gone on at flanker. Out there from Bullock as the scrum half. Leslie goes. Pountney is there. It's a good ball inside the Welsh 22. There's a real chance. Here's a Townsend goal. Townsend gives it on to Tate. Tate has scored. A superb try by the Scots. Alan Tate's 10th try for Scotland in a Cup International. It's 20 points all. They've only got about 11 minutes of the match left, and it's boiling here at Murrayfield. The crowd on its feet.
Well, this is the answer, because Scotland steal the ball on the Welsh throw yet again. They set up the midfield move, and Alan Tate over for the try. Scotland have made it very difficult for Wales to win their own line-out ball. Gregor Townsend with the initial surge, the pass out of the tackle. Alan Tate, the angle, cutting back inside, out of the Rugby League manual. Great try again.
Townsend at his best, manufacturing the pass, getting it up and out. And Alan Tate, of course, who's such a powerful runner, there was no stopping him. Now, a big moment indeed for Kenny Logan. He's been kicking for Wasp this season and very successfully. Can he stroke this one over? It may be just outside. And so it's 20 points all. I reckon they've about 10 minutes left. It was a great bit of work by Townsend, who of course made the threat initially when Scotland won this handy ball inside the 22. Townsend threatening, and then Alan Tate, who judged his angle of run quite beautifully. Jenkins has restarted it. Peters in rampant form for Scotland. What a game he's having as well. Armstrong back there to Townsend. Townsend hasn't put a good one. Now it's Quinnell on the charge. Long pass out there to Bateman. Bateman is so quick. Bateman in a thundering tackle there. And the pick up there by Tate. Pountney driving on. Scottish 10 to 9. Tom Smith goes further. Oh, this is great Scottish forward play. Drive and post, drive and post. I can just hear Jim Telfer shouting it now. Townsend high, up to Howarth. Howarth again, technically so correct, called for the mark. He can, of course, take the kick before his players are onside as long as they don't interfere. But sensibly, he's waiting until they get back there to support him. And Howarth makes sure. So, we have about 9 minutes of enthralling action in front of us here. 20 points all. There was Alan Bateman on the break. Look at Tate chasing one lion on another. And I thought, indeed, it was Scott Murray who put in that crunching tackle on Alan Bateman. The lock forward supreme.
I just wonder whether Matthew Robinson could have offered him the angle there. He stayed out on the wing. But again, it's great scavenging by Scotland, and again, the forward driving and the presentation of the ball. And again, Gregor Townsend kicked it. But since the last time he kicked it led to a try, who can knock him?
And there's Scott Murray in his 8th international, first against Australia, then South Africa in '97. What a baptism. And there, the penalty given a bit further forward. And this is eminently kickable. And Gary Armstrong quite rightly says Kenny Logan will kick the goal. Now this will be a real test of Kenny Logan's temperament, because of course he's been kicking for Wasps all this season and kicking very successfully. But of course that's one thing. Murrayfield before 67,500 of a crowd is another. And it will be a thrill for this lad if he can slot this penalty goal and put Scotland into the lead. Kenny Logan then, as he pulled it round. Indeed he has. Logan, the hero. Scotland in the lead, 23 points to 20. They have about 7 minutes to go. And it may be that Kenny Logan may have damaged that leg again. But the youngsters, with their Curies, their tartan, headgear, yeah, you can see the effect on them. And so number 21 goes on for Scotland. That's David Hilton. You can always tell a prop forward, can't you? They ride low in the water. David Hilton, and Paul Burnell, the veteran of 33, goes off. And David Hilton comes on for his 30th international match. Paul Burnell, what a job he's done coming back a year or so ago after being out for 3 seasons. 7 minutes of the match left. There's Neil Jenkins, restarts far. Peters once again, the willing driver all during this game. Townsend. Boy, that's a big kick by Gregor Townsend. He's saying, look, it was a bit further on. Must say so handy for the Scots that they've got Gregor Townsend there, who's played 19 times as a standoff half in his 37 international. This is 20th. There you see the percentage of gains over the game line. Wales on the attack, however, as Bateman feeds out. Very good effort that, indeed, by Matthew Robinson, but the Scots have been alerted to the danger that he suggests to them. Scott Gibbs goes. Pass didn't quite go to hand. feed out by Williams. This is Howley, caught by Peters. Scotland in their back. Good ball for Wales. Neil Jenkins. That was a thundering tackle. I tell you what, you can hear the bones crunching with some of those tackles, Eddie. How would you like to be playing today?
It's magnificent defence by Scotland. I just like the old, slower game than this, Bill. This is Scotland at their very best. They know they can win this if they carry on tackling like this. I think Gregor Townsend will carry on kicking it.
Peters holds in and goes. He always gets over the gain line. One of the best scrimmage pickers up you could find anywhere. Armstrong out. Murray Armstrong angles his kick well over the top of his left shoulder. Across goes Howarth. Howarth drives the Scots back. Taken by Metcalf. Metcalf going still. Big kick. All the breath held as Neil Jenkins goes back there. A good follow-up by Metcalf. Back inside to Duffy James. They're only 5 or 6 metres from the Welsh line. This would be a handsome ball for the Scots to win, but Wales have denied them.
Well, would you believe it, Bill? It's the kicking game again. Shane Howarth kicking his own, chasing his own kick. He's miles upfield. Neil Jenkins is coming back. David James is coming back to help Neil Jenkins. But again, it's just outstanding Scottish tackling. Jenkins to David James. Should he have kicked? He was swamped. Scotland had the put in.
Armstrong. Townsend had to check. Taken on there by John Leslie. Tackled there by Quinnell. Quinnell trying to turn the body and get his own body back. The Scots have won it as Armstrong has a go. Great surging stuff by the Scottish forward. They know one more score might seal it for them. As Armstrong tries to go. Martin Leslie. That's the goal line. Murray is there. Scott Murray has scored his second try for Scotland. And it's a crucial one. They lead by 28 points to 20. About 3 minutes of the match left. And Scott Murray, the 23-year-old, is chuffed.
Irrepressible Scotland. The kicking game has taken them into these situations, and now the forwards who've been driving all day. Oh, what a finish for Scott Murray. Brilliant.
He got so low in the drive. And although he never had to let the ball go, so it was really a momentum try. Look at David Hilton, arms raised, the master butcher. Floodlights have been on all the time. And just listen to the roar from the east stand if this kick goes over. Any moment, the man in charge. He won't be out to rush it. That's a racing certainty. Logan then, a good view. Oh, he can't miss. 2 conversions and a penalty goal for Kenny Logan. Scotland leading 30 points to 20. About 2.5 minutes left. What a game. But if you know anything about Wales, you know they won't lie down. They'll be back. Jenkins with a lovely ball just over the 10 metres. Peters once again. How often has he driven on? Armstrong's kick charged down by Howley. Very sharp bit of awareness there by Robert Howley up the narrow side.
Scott Murray took that kick off. He just had a brilliant game the second row.
Yes, he's vied with Chris Wyatt, really, hasn't he, for the honours at lock. And so there is Scott Murray. Used to play for Preston Lodge and Edinburgh Academicals before going down to Bedford. And he's now a rounded lock forward, if I can call him that. This is 10-12 metres outside the Scottish 22, and Stuart Grimes made the catch, and Tom Smith did the blocking off for him, and that really is a great surge by the Scots. Armstrong, Townsend, the Gary Owen, Howarth waits. My gosh, he's played well. He hasn't dropped a thing all day. Metcalf, Metcalf loves to run. Townsend knew what was needed. No fancy stuff away back there. No way, he said. Let's get up the field and start again.
Very sensible play. The blanket cover coming up on Shane Howarth. He couldn't run the ball. Gregor Townsend then opting, let's just get down into the Welsh half, stop them coming back at us again.
Wyatt, Howley, Jenkins back inside to the forward, Scott Quinnell. They've asked an awful lot of Scott Quinnell today. Now it's Jenkins once again. Oh, this laddie Robinson is such a lovely runner. Jenkins on the outside, almost the interception by Kenny Logan. Kenny Logan is handicapped a little bit. There's no doubt he's not putting too much weight on the leg. But, well, he's going to stay out there. And he's kicked 3 goals. Mary, this Scotland-Wales game has lived up to the tradition, hasn't it?
Always fast, open games, and this has been another outstanding example of the long-running series between these two, and Scotland have thoroughly deserved this. Their second-half performance, the sheer enthusiasm of the forwards, the quick delivery to the half-backs, and the sensible options by the three-quarters. And Wales have looked rattled when they've had to turn and go back and fetch it.
Just inside Welsh territory. Scottish scrimmage had a bit of a squeeze on there. However, Howley, Jenkins very well tackled by Townsend. Scotland could well. And it's a penalty to the Scots for holding on the floor. I think Neil Jenkins in the tackle maybe realised his forwards weren't quite there with him.
Yeah, Neil Jenkins going for perhaps a bit of individual glory. The game is over, really. He's tried every other option, just hanging on to the ball after the tackle by Gregor Townsend. So Gregor Townsend can add a bit of mighty defence to his all-round common sense that has driven Scotland to victory in this game.
This the 103rd match between them. Wales 56 wins, Scotland 44. And here, Kenny Logan with a chance really to seal it. About a minute and a half left. Logan then, has he sealed it? The crowd will tell you again. What a performance by Kenny Logan. 2 penalty goals and 2 conversions. Scotland leading 33 points to 20. And on my watch, we're into injury time. So they'll be delighted at Bridge Hawk, Stirling County, Kenny Logan's old club, at that performance. Goal kicking so vital even in today's matches, and well, he's done his bit. Well, Wales took a leaf out of Scotland's book, and Chris Wyatt, that tremendous lock forward, was up again. However, the kick there by John Leslie, taken by Howard. But Scotland's follow-up tackling has been very good. They've hardly missed a follow-up tackle today. First tackles count so much, however, handling after the tackle. Penalty to Wales. We're in the last minute, the referee says, and Neil Jenkins goes for the punt towards the corner. It's a good one. So the throw-in will be about 15 metres out from Scotland's line. 13 points separate the two teams. We've already played over 2 minutes of injury time at the end of the game. What a game it's been. We're all breathless up here. The very thought of it. The line-out play has been so good too. Nicely away again from Wyatt. Scott Gibbs. That was meant to go back inside to Quinnell, but Wales have lost it again inside Scotland's 22. There's the drive and post. Armstrong hooking it away over his left shoulder. Howard racing back there, and the touch judge's flag is up. The referee's whistle goes for the end of the match. Most of the 67,500 throw their arms in the air. David Hilton, the replacement prop, is thrilled. Gary Armstrong has led his side to a remarkable victory in a tremendous match, and the crowd here are acknowledging it. They're all on their feet round here. Scott Murray, whose try was so crucial to Scotland's success.